Hey, how's it going?
You know how it's going, Christian.
Oh, uh, well, so I'll do an introduction first.
Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. We're doing this as part of the Proko Ukraine fundraiser, where we're going to be raising funds for the humanitarian efforts in Ukraine. So, uh, help funding hospitals, helping refugees, feeding children, that sort of thing. And we're doing streams this entire week. And today we have Patrick. Doing a demo for us, and I guess we'll be talking and asking. I'll be asking him questions from the chat.
Excellent.
Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Patrick J. Jones. There was a Patrick Jones illustrator when I started out, and so I'm Patrick J. Jones now, whether I like it or not. So yeah, I'm a fantasy to seal 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 to seal.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's having the problem.
I think we lost Patrick Jones.
Oh no, we've lost Patrick Jones.
He got frozen.
Oh geez.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Hopefully he'll come back here in a second.
Yeah.
I had to mute him.
Oh geez.
We broke the internet. We broke the internet, guys.
Patrick Jones AI.
Yeah,
he's a robot.
That was too much Patrick Jones for the internet.
Oh jeez.
Oh man.
How do we entertain?
I don't know. Patrick, if you can hear us, remove yourself, or here I can remove him, and hopefully he'll come back.
I can email him.
Okay. Still frozen. Okay. Oh man. Still alive. Oh man, some of these comments.
Yeah. Hey guys. Let's see. Hacker man. Jeez, he got adopted. Don't you ever lose Patrick Jones?
Oh no.
Sing a song for us. The internet.
Yeah, we might have to. He wanted to stream demo footage for you guys while this was going on, but I don't think he'll be able to do that. So once he comes back, we'll probably just have to do a Q&A with you guys. So let's see. Patrick.
Hello, NKS Productions.
Yeah.
Anyone tuning in just now, Patrick just froze and he was kicked out of the stream. So we're waiting for him to join.
Yeah. Game over, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian, how are you doing so far with all the streams?
I'm good. I did 2 today, and Patrick
did 2 today. That's
one.
Right. Yeah. Tomorrow is also going to be a big stream day. If you guys haven't checked out the schedule yet.
Yeah, well, for anyone that doesn't know John, John is the man behind the curtain that controls all of Proko.
Yeah, I do the remote streams for all of our artists.
He's the god emperor of streams. I'm doing well after so many hours of streaming. Patrick was kicked out of his own stream. If everyone screams all at once, maybe Patrick will hear and wherever he lives. Oh, he can still see and hear us.
Here, I'm gonna kick him.
Is he waiting in the thing?
I mean, none of his. I'm gonna kick him, and you can tell him that he needs to rejoin.
Read Proko Wizard. Hey, John. How was your stream?
How's my stream?
No, John Nymeister.
Oh, how was John Nymeister's stream? Yeah. It was good. I'm sure a lot of the people that are here right now have probably just seen John's stream. So
he said 5 minutes. He's gonna restart his computer.
So. Oh man, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Can you guys hang around 5 minutes? Can we make this work?
Yeah.
All 248 of you.
Yeah. I can go get Stan real quick.
You can get Stan. That would probably be good.
Okay, I'll get Stan.
And I'm just gonna be here awkwardly by myself for 5, maybe a couple minutes. Hey everyone. Thank you for tuning in for our Artists Help Ukraine benefit. Hope you guys have all been enjoying the live streams so far. It's been quite a production to put on in such a short notice. Let's see, what are some chats? Send me some questions. What are your Proko questions while we wait for Stan the man to show up? Let's see, what do we have? We are all staring at you. Yeah, I know. Sing a song. I'm not a singer. Marshall is the one that sings. Everybody knows that. IT guy. I'm not the IT guy.
Left my phone in there.
Oh,
Hey.
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 You got Stan?
Yeah, I got Stan. Here.
You got Stan?
Go.
Hey, I was called in to
Yeah, you're
entertain
here
people while
Yeah, hey.
Yes.
Patrick is frozen.
Yeah.
We lost Patrick Jones.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and as a result, I don't know what to do for the next couple minutes.
Is he just
Yeah.
restarting his computer?
He is restarting his computer.
Okay, well, hi guys. Do you have any questions for me? I mean, I don't know what.
Hey, it's John. Oh, Neumeister.
Yeah, Neumeister. Is Stan's kid already better at art than me? John, you're pretty good. Oh man, what did
John
you
Art's
draw
fucking
recently? Oh man, Cooper drew the funniest thing. He drew a giraffe, but it doesn't look like a giraffe. It looks very foul. Like the body does. Just imagine the body doesn't have any legs, and then the neck is long, and then the giraffe head doesn't really look like a regular giraffe head. It's really funny. I wanted to post it online, but my wife didn't let me.
Oh, she didn't let you?
No.
Could you
She's
show
like,
it?
no, that's embarrassing.
Oh,
But now people's imagination is probably doing.
it's way worse.
It's probably way worse.
Yeah.
That's you. Yeah. You're.
I'm in the little square. I think it's going up.
there.
The view count is going up actually.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah.
More stories about giraffe necks.
Yeah.
Legs are overrated.
Why is the name Proko?
Well, my last name's Proko Penko, so I thought Penko sounds stupid.
It's smart branding is what it is.
Yeah, nobody can spell Proko Penko.
For anyone just joining, Patrick Jones, his computer crashed, so
It's just me for a few minutes.
Yeah.
What were you working
Pineapple-
on before?
What?
Oh, I was gonna say, what were you working on before Christian came into the room and grabbed you?
Just doing some giraffe drawings.
Almost there.
No, boring stuff. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? I feel like you're gonna judge me. I mean,
I feel like that's no longer as controversial.
it's not controversial.
As, like,
Is it?
it's gotten weirder. Like,
What do you mean weirder?
people do like hot dogs and pineapple.
Oh, yeah.
together.
Wait, what?
I like pineapple on pizza. And I like not pineapple on pizza.
Would you put ice cream on pizza? Hey,
Would I put?
do you want to?
I would try it.
So
I'm sure.
Patrick, his computer.
Oh,
crashed.
we've been monitoring the situation.
I would try ice cream on pizza, and I'm sure someone can do it really well.
I would do that.
Yeah. Like yesterday, I went to a restaurant. It was kind of like an Asian fusion place and she it's called Anime in San Diego in downtown. Yeah, it's a really it's a really nice restaurant you go to once a year, and they have a dessert that has yuzu sauce in it, which typically I thought was just for more of a savory thing you put on sushi
Yeah.
like it's in the ponzu sauce, right? But not really. It's kind of, I think it's a citrus fruit, so it makes sense. But I just associate it with like eating sushi. But then I tried the dessert and it was delicious.
Yeah.
So, but then somebody else could totally mess up.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
I would
but
try ice cream pizza together. I don't
yeah, like if
Haagen-Dazs
the
and-
pizza crust is complementing the ice cream, hell yeah. Make it a sweet crust with a little crunchy, and it's pretty much a waffle.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's see what food course.
Ooh, Italy, we eat Nutella on pizza.
I would try that.
Yeah, I mean, well, but do you also have like tomato sauce on it, right? Because like, what is a pizza then? I mean, you just put Nutella on dough because that sounds good. Which of the paintings from the live session was your favorite? Ooh, that's a tough one.
All of them were great.
Yeah. I felt like Leon's was the most exciting for me to look at. Yeah, I like Leon. I mean, I kind of just like how Leon paints. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But they're all good. Stan, will you be doing a course on oil painting? As I really enjoyed the first 2 days of watching. Actually, wait, should we say it?
We could talk about a little bit.
Okay, well, it's not like
talks with.
We're in talks, and we've started working a little bit on it already with Joseph Todorovich, so the guy in that stream. He was in those, the first 2 days. He's gonna be working on a oil painting course with us. So, but that's very beginning stages. So don't be like waiting for it to learn how to paint.
Or do.
I mean, yeah, you can wait, but you should just start painting right now too. Chocolate filled crust.
John
Sounds
Nyquist
dumb.
said that.
Oh yeah, so you get pizza, then you get a chocolate. Oh yeah, it's in the crust. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Basically, we're turning Dunkaroos into pizza now.
What's a pizza? Oh yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, what's a pizza?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Ukraine fundraiser at all?
Yeah. Did you guys not mention it yet?
Well, I literally started talking about it and then he crashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good idea. So if you guys go to proko.com/Ukraine, this is the whole point of why we're doing this. Hey, did Carlo Ortiz add a prize?
He did.
Oh, snap. What is it? 10 Magic Gathering artist proof prints with one sketch of your choice.
So when an artist does
it already got sold, so I don't know.
Oh,
if it makes sense to mention.
Oh no, it's already sold. So we're at $38,000 raised. Wow, 519 of you have donated.
Can we get to 40 today?
Can we?
Come on, people.
Can.
Yeah, boy.
We need more prizes like Carla's. We got Rembert's got an original sketch in here.
Yeah.
From his sketchbook.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rembert's really good.
Tiffany Mang has an original painting for $275. But what? I think I'm gonna get this one. Another. Well, this one's a little more, but this, $275 for this painting.
You're gonna buy up all the rewards.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
This is meant for people.
Yeah, Scott Flanders has a sculpture on here with an actual hammer as a head.
That you have to be, I think,
I love
in
that
California though.
You have to be in California to.
He's not gonna ship it. Yeah.
Right, you gotta pick it up. Yeah, that's a tough one to ship. Yeah, there's a lot of prizes in here. But anyway, yeah, we're raising money for the humanitarian efforts in Ukraine, helping refugees, children's hospitals, people who need food and water and shelter and backpacks and all that, blankets and stuff. So proko.com/Ukraine, you could donate money or buy one of the prizes, and all the money from the prizes also goes directly to the.
Apparently, Patrick Jones is back.
He's back?
No, he's not.
Oh,
what did he? He said something. Was that a text message to you?
I know it was an email.
Email. Well, let me see. More questions?
Yeah.
Here, make this smaller. I've done my part, Stan. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Zwerny. Zwerny 42.
We need the Starship Troopers meme. I've done my part.
Yeah, someone said Scott's hammerhead sculpt is amazing. It is. Chocolate pizza is common in Brazil. Is that real? Like what? Like melted chocolate, or you put like chocolate? What?
I don't know.
That's
I
called a
think
cookie?
I mean,
cheese-
it could totally work. I could see it working. It's not that weird. I'm just trying to imagine what is it like a mole sauce where it's like chocolate. Is there cocoa in mole? There is, right?
I assume if it's chocolate, cocoa is involved.
I did get
No.
a new van for the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, Coke.
he can stand up in it
I
now.
can stand up in it.
What's the goal money? We actually don't have a goal. Like the goal is just to keep going. Yeah.
And, well, if
The
you
goal
guys
is
want to
speed.
if you guys want to be involved too, let us know. We can.
Well, we're almost done.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's kind of.
yeah.
We have one more day.
Share it on Instagram. Share it
Yeah,
on-
you could. The best way to get involved at this point is to share that link. Tell your friends to watch all the streams tomorrow. And we got one more after this, right?
Yeah, with
Yep, Ryan
Ryan Benjamin.
Ryan Benjamin
That one's gonna
in
be
about
sick.
2 hours, a little less
Oh.
than 2 hours.
We're back.
Hey,
back.
Hey,
Lord, I tell you, I've seen some thrillers. That was the worst.
Yeah.
Tension.
Patrick, I had to take over for you.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan, that was so
I had
good
to
of you.
entertain
I
the
can't
audience.
believe
Answer
that.
some chocolate pizza questions,
Yeah.
pineapple pizza questions,
This is a fantasy,
Sean
Sorry, I missed that.
mostly pizza questions. A little bit of giraffe action in there.
Did your
Oh,
computer
Lord.
crash or something, or was it?
Well, you know how you panic and you do all the wrong things? I did them all. Just count them off on your fingers. I clicked on the old stream that John sent me, the test stream. So I've been sitting there watching a blank screen going, where is everybody? I'm the professional here. Nobody else has turned up.
Oh man. Oh, geez.
Oh, that was the longest progress bar I have ever watched in my life.
Oh, that's all right.
Anyway, I'm here.
Oh,
I suggest we just Q&A for a bit and then tentatively try and play that demo. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then if I freeze, I might even play a little trick. I might do this, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Make
So
sure you
I'll
smile before it freezes.
Yeah. So I'll take, and thanks for coming on, Stan. It's great to see you.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Really. Yeah, I've never met you before.
No. I've met John and Christian. Me and Christian had a good old talk. And I was thinking yesterday when Christian donated, well, a few days ago, when donated his hair, I think he would have gotten more to leave the 2 bits on the side. I think that would have been the spot.
You're right. I should have gone for the fryer cut.
It was bad.
It was
It was so bad.
I've never been more unattractive.
Nah, you look fabulous.
Thank you.
I think John recommended
That's
adding another tier that was make Christian keep that cut till December.
Yeah.
Whoever buys it first.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, you're too soft. When I was a kid, that was a standard haircut. They just shaved us like sheep. That was it. Just next. That was it.
This bald or with the sides on?
Yeah, just that.
Just
That was
bald?
it. My mum would give me one pound. She'd say, go to the barbers and get your hair sheared. That was it. It wasn't a haircut. It was a shear. Anyway, I'm alone here now. I'm the only one on the screen. Is that? Oh, there we go.
Okay.
All right. So let's pretend nothing went wrong, and I'll take questions.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I guess I can ask you some stuff. Well, I remember when we last talked, you were telling me that you had studied with, or came up with Steve Houston, right?
Yeah, it was Leon, wasn't it? The Russian artist. That's his name, isn't it?
Mhm.
Leon. Leon said
Tolkien.
something. Yeah, he said something so insightful the other day because I've been watching the streams. It looks like I'm in an aircraft, doesn't it? Because I've tilted that camera.
Yeah.
And he said that every teacher is a student, and I think if you've got a teacher that's not an eternal student, then you've got a dead fish flapping around in the sand. And so I'm actually with Steve now in a mentorship program. I'm in with him. He's actually teaching right now, and I'm not there. Say, where's Patrick? Because I always turn up.
Yeah.
I'm the person that asks all the questions. So I think that's really important. So I'm with Steve now in a long long mentorship right at this moment. And so never too late to learn. One of the questions was, when's it too late to learn? It never is, in my humble opinion. So yeah, I'm with Steve right now. He just wrote the foreword for my next book. There you go. There's a little spruik there for you, and it's the greatest moment. It's like winning the Oscar.
Yeah.
Which Steve are you talking about?
Steve Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Steve.
Yeah,
Wow.
the only Steve.
You're studying with him right now?
The one and only. Yeah. Well, it's a mentorship program. So we go in and we shoot the breeze and things. I was telling a funny story.
On Facebook?
It's on his own platform.
Okay.
And it's called Draw and Jaw. But it's a mentorship program. It's so brilliant. I recommend it if you see it.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been a fan of Steve's for a long time. And going back to that Leon, insightful comment, that's, for me, I'm always learning. But yeah, and I watched the stream the other day with Natalia, and I have to say that was just fabulous.
Last night?
That painting, yeah. When I say yesterday, I'm a day ahead. We're bright sunshine.
Well,
here.
it was yesterday here too.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Of course it was. But if I say daytime, I mean your nighttime. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
What time is it for you right now?
Right now, boy, it's the longest hour of my life. It's 9:24 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
AM. It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm in the future.
4:24 p.m. here.
It is.
What's
it's
the
future
news?
for me.
Yeah. What's the? Can you tell us who to bet on? Who's gonna win?
Buy Bitcoin.
Oh, it's gonna go up tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
No, Luna.
Man.
Buy Luna.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't lose.
Right.
You can't. That's terrible, isn't it? I shouldn't have said that. There's a lot of people just sad now.
Some people are gonna do it.
It's not financial.
Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna get sued.
Yeah.
Shouldn't laugh. No.
It's going down, man. Why are you giving people this advice?
I know.
Someone's asking, was your cover picture of Rosetta?
Was Mike? No, that's me. That's me.
I know.
I don't know whether to be insulted.
Come on, guys.
I don't know whether I'm insulted or whether I'm, feeling good about that.
It looks like a Frazetta girl.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I grew up with. I love Frazetta. I mean, who doesn't? And, well, some people do. Someone said to me secretly once, I don't really like Frank Frazetta. I says, hush your mouth. Don't say that in public. Remember, this is only between us. She didn't like him.
No,
And I had another
not
person. Yeah, I had another person say he doesn't know his anatomy. And I would say he knows his anatomy so well that he's not copying it. He's just, if he did do it from the top of his head, there are signs that maybe that's not entirely the truth. But yeah, I think he's fabulous. He's my top man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. I admire you as well, Stan. That painting you did yesterday was just great.
That was actually 2 days ago. So.
Of course, there I go. Well, you know what? We have a thing in Ireland where we like to keep things present. We always say just the other day, even if it was
Just
last
the other
year.
day.
The other day, it feels more present. So the day before, I guess.
Mhm.
I loved your painting when it was in the early stages. Now, it's not to say I didn't love it later, but what I'm aiming for in my, future self is to stop paintings halfway and just say that's it. That's where my goal is. I have that goal in mind. I loved it when you blocked it in. I thought that was fabulous. I thought, stop.
Well, thank you.
I said, go, Stan. Just go and relax now. Take the time off now. That's a success.
I'm happy with the way the portrait came out, the face.
Yeah.
But most of the rest of the painting, I'm like 70%
Yeah.
okay with it.
I think with me, I think when you take progress shots of your pieces, I recommend that to everyone. Take progress steps, and I think I'm always better 60% in, and then for the last 40%, I'm just destroying it. I'm killing it all the way.
I can see that.
So
yeah, that happens to a lot of people.
yeah, I think it's insecurity from me. I go, look, the fans are waiting for the polish. And so I'm going in there really tight with it. And then, the more educated me is going, why didn't you just stop that at 30%? If I had the guts to do it. So I'm going to be a little bit more gutsy in the future. I'm going to try that. Yeah,
detail doesn't always make things better.
I don't think so. No, I I have a worry about. I've been trying to find all the movies that don't have nudity in them. Can I have nudity in the drawing if I was to show it in a live stream?
I think there's nudity in your drawing right behind you. I think.
Oh, but look at that! Look at that technically pressed T. Do you see where that T lands?
Yeah, but what about the other one? Move
That's
your
my
head.
head. Well, I
move
have
your
to
head
keep
to the
my
right
head
way.
in this.
But you just moved it for a second. I saw it.
Hold on. No.
Uh-oh.
wait, no, the headphone just.
The
There you go.
headphones is right there. You just can't move your neck.
Hold on. Maybe Zuckerberg's not watching, and I'll do that.
Ah! My eyes.
Oh no!
Are we still live?
Gonna get kicked off YouTube.
Oh, now I can't concentrate.
No. Now, shall I try again to put the movie up, the demo? Shall I try?
Yeah, let's go.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
John, are you there?
Shall I dare it?
Well, we could answer a couple more questions before.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think
if there
we
is some.
asked you.
Yeah, there's a bunch of questions.
Frank, free the nipple hashtag. What?
There's one that answers.
Well, I'd like to know. What is Mark Zuckerberg going to do when he goes into the Vatican? Is he going to wear a blindfold? How's that going to affect him?
Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, isn't he the one that banned the nipples?
Oh,
Facebook?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He probably
When?
did. He's probably contributed to ban the nipple.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know very little about this.
Yeah.
I thought it was him. I thought he was the main man.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
know.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Well,
I think it's the collective of nipples being a little bit,
You know what? I don't know what this means. I was just trying to be funny, but in my breast video, the anatomy of the breasts,
Yes.
I censored the male nipples and I didn't censor the female nipples.
Nice one, Stan.
I don't
That's
know
good.
what that means. I don't know what kind of message I'm trying to
I think
send.
it's-
I really
think
was
it's
just trying to be funny.
It's subliminal politics, isn't it?
It wasn't political. I was just like trying to be ironic and immature.
Well, I like that. I
But,
think that's great. I don't think there's enough of that. I've always thought a sign of intelligence was a man that still held on to his child. I really did, and I still do. Do you agree?
I do.
I agree.
I do.
I vote on whether the person's humorous or not. And if they're not humorous, I'm very suspicious of them. That's how I vote. Simple as that. If you're a funny guy, you got my vote. There you go.
You're a funny guy.
Oh, I got your vote. Can't help it.
Well, there is a question for you. So, what was your approach to studying Frazetta's art at the beginning of your artist path?
I didn't have an approach. I just loved it, and I had no intellectual skills at all. I just went like and love, and I used to copy an artist called Steve Ditko, and I just loved him. He designed Spider-Man. I know Jack Kirby really did, but he was the one that made Spider-Man work. So Jack Kirby's was more like the Fly or something. He half designed it, but Steve Ditko had a how to draw, and it wasn't how to draw. It was you copy a square and then you copy the next square and you copy the next square.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He gridded it, and I drew with that, and I thought I can draw now. I was so amazed, and so for years I thought I need to have squares or I can't draw. And then I just saw Frank Frazetta's drawings, and I knew he wasn't doing that. It was just brilliant. So I didn't actually copy him or anything. I just imbibed it. I just looked at it and went, wow, I'm going to do that. And I had a friend, I drew a dragon once, and I had a friend, he says, I know you copy that. I know you copy all your work. And I said, I've never copied anything in my life except for that Steve Ditko drawing. And he showed me a dragon, just an arbitrary dragon that some other artist did. And he says, there, you copied that. I says, that looks nothing like my dragon. And that's the mindset of the friends I had around me. If you drew something fantasy orientated, you copied it from someone else. So every time you draw a dragon, you've canceled all dragons for everyone forever in his mind. It's very strange. That's why I had to leave. I had to go to London and find artists, people that understood. But as far as Frank Frazetta goes, I think I was talking with Steve. I'm going to keep dropping Steve Houston's name.
Yeah.
I was talking with Steve the other day, and he did a Frank Frazetta knee. And I went, that's a Frank Frazetta knee. And he said, this is a Frank Frazetta knee. So we had a conversation without talking, because we both knew that was a Frank Frazetta knee. So I think that by osmosis, I garnered a lot of what Frank was doing. I think that's how I learn. I look and feel. There you go.
Mm.
I look and feel. That's how I learned from Frank Frazetta. I looked at it and I felt it. Then I went my own path.
Did you draw it too, or did you just feel it?
No, I never did. I never
Oh,
copied
really?
I never copied
Okay.
another artist. I did once. I
Okay.
did there was a thing like this. It was a charity event for children in need, I think it was, years ago, and it was modern fantasy artists, and we copied an old master, and I copied William Waterhouse's Sirens painting, and I added more fantasy elements to it, pixie ears and stuff. So I did that, and I learned a hell of a lot. So I didn't realize how useful copying masters was until I did that. That really, I should do more of it, and I never did. Once. I did it once. One and I'm done.
It's useful. Leon last night was really pushing for it.
Yeah.
And Natalia too. Yeah, they're both of them. I mean, it's a big deal, I think, at the Ripon Academy to do master studies. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think master studies are extremely useful.
Well, I hadn't seen Leon before, and now I'm a big fan.
Mhm.
That he knows his stuff. And
He
you worked with him, Stan? Is that right?
I studied with him. We both
Oh, you
went to
studied.
Watts Atelier.
Oh, you were students at the Watts. I see.
Yeah, we were both students there at the same time, and we hung out after class and went painting together, and went on a road trip together. We went along the coast of California, and we would stop every once in a while and just park the car and paint the beach, and go drive a little more and paint the beach.
That's
It's
amazing.
fun. Yeah.
Was that where was that? Was that the Big Sur?
Where we ended up?
Where the coast was? I'm just thinking about. I went up the coast of Los Angeles, up to San Francisco.
We went from San Diego to Monterey, right? Is that? Yeah, Monterey. Yeah.
Oh,
Is that right?
Oh.
I always do that.
Almost to San Francisco, I think.
See when someone's. I was trying to decide whether the West Coast was the East Coast the other day. I have no idea about North, East, and West. And I thought, hold on, East is New York, West is Los Angeles. I got it now. Yeah.
West is Los Angeles. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, funny. Yeah, that we studied a lot together. Never worked together, but we might. I think a lot of people liked him. We might do more stuff with Leon.
He was a calming influence. I'm very excitable. You know, when I start talking, I talk faster and faster, and he was talking slower and slower. I thought I could learn from that.
That's just because he gets more and more confused, stumbles his American words.
You reckon that's what it is?
I think so.
Because Natalia was
run out of translation in his mind.
Yeah, Natalia was very calm, wasn't it? Imagine having to translate everything you say into another language. The button belly, you know, that got a few giggles. The button belly, yeah.
Yeah, and then she called it the poops because
I didn't know where that was going.
Well, because in Russian, poopsik is a belly button.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with poop. It's just.
Well, my mind went straight belly button poop, and I thought, where's that going?
No, it's not. Yeah, that's just.
Ah, poops.
Yeah, right? Yeah, poopsy.
Poopsy. That's a nice name for a belly button, isn't it? Poopsy.
Belly button. Wait, what am I gonna get? Poop. I guess poopsy is more of like a cute way of saying it, like for a child's belly button.
All right.
Anyway, that's what she was saying. She was just saying belly button in Russian.
Yeah. Look how we went off track.
Yeah. Where are the questions? There's a good question actually from Arthur. It says the human body has exact places where you can exaggerate the anatomy, or is it all up to the artist?
Well, Stan, you could answer that as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you're the
is it up to me?
Here. They're asking you questions.
Well, I used to do the 10 or the 8 heads high as almost like a rote, and then I decided, does Frank Frazetta do that? And no, he doesn't. And so I started to not do that, and my art started looking better for it. And then I realized that the female torso is a little longer than the male torso. And then I started elongating that a little bit. And then the legs looked a little short. And then I went back up. And so it's back and forth all the time. And for me now, I've dropped the whole 8 heads high out the window. That's the last thing I look at, just personally, myself. And so what I do is I break it into thirds now. You know, I go from the collarbone to the head, and then I go down to the rib cage, and then down to the crutch. And I go, that's 3 nice little components there. And that's easier for me to work with than 4 heads. And I'm not a mathematician. So once I go over 4, I'm going, hold on, where's the next 5, 6, 7, 8? And it starts to get a bit confusing for me, anything after 4. And so I'm gradually just going, well, what's half from the head to the great trochanter down to the foot? I'll go with that. And I don't need anything else. And I'll start, but that's from mileage. And so I think after a while, you stop dropping all of those things, but they're dead useful, you know? I think it's like Harvey Dunn, you know, he was a great guy. I'd always say, he said, technique be damned. Can I say damned? I know that in America, some things are very offensive and they're not at all here in Australia. Can I say, I've said it now. I've already said it. It's been said. It's been said. Yeah. He said
What's
technique
the
be
worst word that you are comfortable saying right now?
you're just loading the bullets. I said that once to a really demure friend of mine, and she said the worst word ever. She just blurted it right out, and the whole room died. Oh, and she still had the little cute face and everything. I went, boy, we got to get a priest in here to exorcise her. So I've lost my train of thought now. Where was I? Yeah, Harvey.
We were talking about pupok.
Well, Harvey Dunn said technique be damned. And I think what he really meant was learn your technique so well, like a method actor, that you can just only call on it if you need it, like a whisper. And that's what I do. So I'm basically working with whispers. I'm never actually going, you know, notching in 8 heads. That would be madness. In fact, what I like to draw most now is foreshortening, where you don't think about it at all. You just go.
But I mean, because those measurements are for an unposed figure.
Yeah.
Like, how often are you going to draw that?
That's right. Yeah. But it's still all useful. Going back to the question, I teach it. I have my, I'm great on Zoom. If we were on Zoom now, I'd be like a maestro. I'd be flying things in and all, but I'm terrified to touch it now after that big freeze. So what are we on, Zoomy Woomy or something? What are we on?
Yeah, is John here? Are we going to play that demo or what?
Has he got it? I think I sent it.
I think it's on Patrick's end potentially.
Do I have to?
Patrick has to do it.
Well, I think
that's what we're fearful of, Stan. The last time I did it, it was just
the computer froze when you tried to share.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
You frozen? Oh God, I thought you were frozen. What?
It did It froze, yeah. And so, but I'm still willing to do it. I mean, you guys are frozen right now.
Well,
are we?
Well, on my screen, I'm gonna try it. Shall I do it? Shall I press the trigger?
Well,
let's see what John.
John, hold on.
John, what do you think?
Do we have the video? Can we do it?
Yeah, can we do it?
John, can you share it? I don't know if I would. We don't have the video. I guess we don't have the video.
Well, Einstein said the definition of a fool or something like that is doing the same thing twice and expecting a different result.
Well, I think that.
But I think the internet's different. I have done the same thing. I've done the same thing twice.
And the third time is probably the
Yeah.
Should we do it? Let's do it. What are we frightened of?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it. And then if we lose you, we'll just take more questions. And
here it goes. Here it goes.
Okay. Wait, how do we share his screen?
I'm gonna get it now.
John will do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing it. I'm pressing the button, and if you don't hear from me, I'll start the computer again.
Okay, so make sure you do a good face that it freezes.
Okay. All right. It's working.
Oh my God.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
No,
now let me turn this on.
That one.
Nice.
Oh man, there we go. So you're seeing the same as me. There's us two crushed in the corner, and then this is full screen. Is it? Is that what's happening? Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
Okay.
You can see us too.
So what I've just done is put a movie together that's about an hour long, and it's for just general questions. People ask me, for instance, how do you sharpen your charcoal and stuff? And so that's basically what's running in the background there. And that might pose some questions as we go. Now, Stan, you put up a movie once, and it was just wonderful. And I wish I could pull the guy's name, and I think he was called Jim with a G, and he did a streams of consciousness drawing that he's. Do you remember who that was? It was an older gentleman.
Tim Gula.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And he did something. I went, we all do that. And what it was is he basically, before he started drawing, he started making marks, just lots and lots of marks. And he said that he saw another artist do that, and I have been doing it all my life. And I thought, wow, there we go. In this, this world of consciousness that we all share, as artists, we're discovering things the same way. And he did that, and I do that too. So this is what I do before every drawing. I think this is more useful than getting into a cold room and doing a couple of gesture drawings. I think this is better because we're already making all the broad marks, all the thin lines, all of that stuff before the model even sits down. And by that point, we're fluid. So I'm just sharpening my little charcoal piece here because I teach charcoal drawing a lot. And when you get them out of the box, they're bent. And so I break them into 3 pieces. And then I sharpen the bottom edge and then turn it and make a screwdriver shape. And that's what I'm doing right here. And that gives me a 2-finger wide piece of charcoal. And with that 2-finger wide piece of charcoal in the gestural hand, mind you, picking it up like a monkey, then I have the freedom to make all these beautiful marks. So that's what I'm doing here before every single life draw. So I teach life draw like Stan. I teach with pre-recorded movies, and I also do a sort of mentorship program as well. So I'm doing this all the time. I'm drawing all the time. And I was known initially as a painter and realized that I didn't draw enough. Painting takes a long time. You're painting you could be painting for $100. For instance, I've got a painting right now, and it's going to be 7 feet tall in its frame, and it's got 5 figures in it. I've been honing that thing for ages, just, a day here, a day there. But I've been doing lots of drawings. I just draw all the time. There's me making the marks. You can see the shape of that little thing. If I could sell them in boxes, those little things that I make, I think that they would sell in millions. But Stan, I don't have your marketing expertise. I'm just a simple guy. But there you go. You can make your own. Look at that. Look at those beautiful marks. So I think that when you've, was it Tim, did you say, Christian? Yeah, he was marvelous. And what a great artist as well. And so you can see me dropping that down onto its flat and getting all those beautiful shapes. I mean, for me, charcoal is dry oils. It really is. It does everything that oils can do. It doesn't have color, obviously, but I think working just with value is valuable. I think it stops you worrying about painting. Like for instance, when I paint, you can see my paintings and they have tons of color in them. I'm really just working with 3 colors. I'm working with alizarin crimson, Indian yellow, ultramarine blue, and then a lot of white. And from that, I can get every color in the rainbow. And I don't have to think about anything else. And at the end of that, at the end of this, if we make it, you'll see me paint. I'm going to paint at the very end of this. But please, anyone in the chat, ask questions based on everything you see on screen here. Oh no, Zuckerberg, we're doomed. We're doomed. On the left there. Don't look. On the left, top left. No. It's there, isn't it?
Oh, it was covered by the chat window.
I didn't know it was going to be there. I didn't know.
No, Zuckerberg, he's gonna.
I tried my best, but there's me working with those thirds. I can't. Can I?
Oh, look at that! You censored it. Oh no, not anymore. Did I? There was an arrow.
Can you see my arrow move around? I don't think you can.
No, there was an arrow pointing at something.
That would be from the recording. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's me working with those thirds. So I think that for me anyway, this is a personal thing. I think if I get the torso right, then everything else is fine. You can have short legs, long arms, big, small heads. Doesn't matter. I think if the torso looks good, everything looks good. So, but I'm still happy to elongate the torso too. So these are, from my study sheets. I've written 8 books on art. And the latest one is got a forward by Steve Houston.
Mhm.
Steve Houston. And that's a lovely segue, because I have donated those books, the profits for those books, for this Ukraine humanitarian aid. And they're my best-selling things. If I look at my analytics of what things sell over the years, those books are probably been the bread and butter of, what keeps me ticking over. So they're very popular. So I think you guys would be great artists if you went on to the what is it called, the donation page, or the what is the page where you go to and download those books? Have you got a name for it?
At the top of the screen, you can see a link, proko.com/Ukraine.
Okay, yeah. If you guys go there, all the books are there, and if you buy that whole package, you're donating mightily to the humanitarian effort.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been doing for years and years now, is rekindling the love of learning. Going back to what Leon said, if you're not an eternal student, then you're not improving. You can actually flatline. And I know people that have got worse because they never rekindled the fundamentals again, and so they very slowly lose their faculties. They're just rendering now. They render for the rest of their lives. But look at the beauty of constantly drawing. So if you're constantly painting and not drawing, then I think you're very slowly, possibly, losing your skills for what means what. I'll give you, for instance, and please stop me if I I'll watch you guys, and if I see you nodding off, I'll stop talking.
No, totally fine.
But go on,
No,
Stan.
we do have a lot of questions coming in.
Go ahead. Go with the question.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead with the questions.
Okay. And John, but if you're there, where are you guys putting the questions? Because they're going up fast.
We're literally just.
You're just going it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's this whole giant wall of questions right here. God.
I think we've answered one so far.
There's one.
Yeah.
Any advice on adding story or emotion to figure drawings? Your figures are so expressive.
Oh, thank you, John. That's a wonderful question.
That
That's
was
not
from
John.
Nick.
That's not our John, is it? That just is still in the room. Is he putting questions in?
No, this is
No?
from Nick.
Oh, this is from Nick. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
here. Oh, sorry. They're in the chat.
Yeah, I just noticed it was in the chat. Yeah, John B. I thought that was our John.
Yeah, but he's copying questions from the chat and just
Oh,
putting
is
them
that what
in
it
this.
is? Of course, I'm seeing it now. They're all John B.
Yeah, they're all John.
Oh man, can we edit that out? No, it's live, isn't it?
This is live.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh my dear! I can't speak now.
People are watching.
I've lost the will to speak.
600 people saw you say that. Or heard you. They saw you too.
Oh no!
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm trying to answer the question. I can't get it out. Yeah, I think it's.
Do you remember
it's
the question?
Yeah, I do. So how do I think that if you don't have an emotional connection to your drawing, you've got a dead drawing. And so for me, I was going to call my latest book "Every Line Should Be a Thought," because I think if you're not thinking at all, you're rendering. And if you're rendering, that's nice. It's meditative, but it's not drawing. It's just, it's like humming, isn't it? Whereas look at what I'm drawing here. I'm going to draw a beck. Now, look how we all come to similar conclusions. Now, Stan did a lovely thing on the RoboBean, and you can see that I'm using a kind of RoboBean idea here.
Yeah.
And boxing it off for the place where we sit. So every line is a thought for me. I'm thinking about the tilt. When I start a figure, I basically think about two things. I think about the basic proportion, just basic, and then I split it into tilts. I go, which way is the tilt? If it's a standing figure, obviously not, but a standing figure is just really for learning. So everything's tilting at some point. We're alive. Look at Stan's head tilting. I'm tilting while I speak. And if you're not tilting the figure doesn't seem to be alive. And so the next thing I think about is the tilt. And you can see I'm putting the tilts in there. And once you're thinking like that, you've got a holistic feel for the drawing. And once you've got a holistic feel for the drawing, you're basically the pilot and you're in control. And now you've got an emotional connection to it as well. So having done this over time with lots of mileage, it means that I I'm now just thinking emotionally. I'm just thinking about the story. And the story could be just, it doesn't have to be, I'm off to the shop to buy a loaf of bread. It's not that kind of story. The story could be, this is a figure tilting. This is a figure tilting and feeling the weight of their shoulders and the sway of their hips. It can be just that if you don't want to text yourself. But what I do is I always ask myself, even if it's a life draw and the model's sitting there, I say, what is she thinking? Or what is he thinking? And then start to create a story from it. So I always do it. I give myself a couple of, it doesn't take long, a couple of seconds and you can create a story. This could be a warrior princess that's about to throw a javelin, for instance. She's in that kind of pose. And so I'll start to think of how the muscles move based on that. And I'll start to think about why is she throwing the javelin, and on. And we create a story from just a very initial start. And I have a bunch of mnemonics and also little sort of mottos that I put in class. And one of them is AUD. And AUD is Australian dollars here. So it's easy for my students to remember that. And it basically means analyze, understand, and draw. It's not a new idea. We all do it. But I analyze everything, every line, until I understand it, and then I draw it. And that's just a synopsis. That's as quick for me now. It's just it's less than a second. So I'm thinking when I draw this head, for instance, it's tilting forward a little bit, and so I draw the tilt. If I'm drawing this line going down the side, this is from imagination. If I draw that line going down the side of the rib cage, I think, is it straight and then curved, and is it long? Yes, it is. And I do a straight curve long and do that. And then go straight to the other side. What is the other side doing? So I never trace a figure all the way around like a map. I'm always thinking one side to the other. And we'll never really get more fluidity than we get, like I'm getting here, from drawing from imagination. And in order to draw from imagination, we have to think like that. We have to analyze every line and make it a thought. It sounds like I'm a dictator. No, I'm not. That is for me. I'm talking about me thinking. I'd be interested in your thoughts, Stan, or any other questions. And Christian as well.
I'm mesmerized by your drawing right now. Yeah, this is it's crazy how accurate you can get with a figure starting with a bean and just thinking about the compression of those two, and then just start slowly adding those landmarks and expanding from there. That was an amazing demo you just did.
Oh,
that was great.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
The bean for me has always been a wonderful thing. And, I teach drawing for animation in university here. And so they have to draw the flower sac. It's just classic 101 animation. And so it's obviously based on the torso twisting and bending in the middle. And so I've uploaded on my YouTube channel just that, me drawing for animation for the students. I did it for my students because they were always calling me down to their desk. And I've got 20 students in the class. I'm answering the same question over and over. And I says, look, you know what, guys, I'm going to just draw it here and I'll put it on YouTube and you guys can have a look at it and have it on your desk. And so that's on my YouTube channel now. And it's actually very popular. And I think it's popular because for me anyway, with my measly 22,000 followers on Instagram, it's popular in those stats. Like I'll go, 40 people have watched that, for instance. So that's in terms of how it is, that's very popular. And I think what it is it simplifies something very complicated. It simplifies a torso. I mean, a torso is complicated. And I'm doing something here that I really never do. I'm drawing one piece and then moving up. I hardly ever do that, but I like to experiment over and over with different ideas. The eternal student, as Leon said there. And this is why I'm slowing down here, because I'm testing the waters. What if I don't draw holistically? What if I draw this little piece? Can I add something to the top of that and still be okay? Let's try it and see. It's only a drawing. It's only paper and charcoal. There's nobody's going to die on this battlefield here. This is an easy win if I can make it win. And if it's not going to win, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. So I say, experiment. I draw with newsprint, and I know you do as well, Stan, because there's nothing to lose. There's no loss in it. You don't have to go, there's 50 hours lost on a canvas. It's minutes. I mean, I'm drawing here in 10 minutes or something like that. And see how I'm putting the tilt in afterwards. Because I was wondering, shall I change the tilt? That's why I'm doing this one. So this is going against the grain. This is me. What if? This is a what if idea, and I'm choosing to turn the rib cage as well at the same time here, leaving it open for that kind of thing. So I'll leave it for questions to be fielded because I talk too much. I'll sit back.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did you mention Indian yellow and ultramarine?
Yeah, the three paints I use all the time, and it was
Okay.
basically at the behest of a student that said I can't afford oil paints, and I
Yeah.
said, well, just buy these three, and it was Indian yellow, ultramarine blue, and alizarin crimson. Of course,
Yeah,
you're going to have to add white to it, but you
Mhm.
don't need a black. Those three colors together will make a
Yeah.
black.
Yeah,
And
someone's asking, won't Indian yellow and ultramarine make brown? How do you make green? But that's not true. I mean, you can't get a bright green out of it, but you can get a green.
yeah, of course you can get every
Yeah.
color of the rainbow. The only thing that I add later is it's very hard to get a really vibrant purple, for instance.
Yeah.
But for a student starting out, you can't lose with that. And also,
Yeah.
what it'll do is it'll stop you thinking about the colors because they're all there for you. And those colors are so beautiful because they're transparent. And so
Well, you
every
can get
other
purple with alizarin plus ultramarine, and I mean that's a bright purple. You can get a really good one.
you can get a really nice purple out of that.
Yeah.
And really, you don't need any other colors. But if you wanted to say, like, you can get there's colors that are using really great pigment in them for
Mhm.
purples. And so purples can be an expensive color. I've got a blue here, and I can't remember what blue it is. But you know how you get to when you get to a certain position, you don't think about the prices anymore. And when I was a kid, I knew what every penny in my wallet was. But I went up to the desk and I bought a couple of paints, and the woman ran it up in the till, and I went, "Is that correct?" Because I usually don't even look, but it was such a gigantic change to 4 tubes of paint that I usually see. And one of the paint tubes was over $100, and it was a specific blue. And I
Oh,
went,
yeah.
She says, "Do you want to put it back?" I says, "Do I want to put that back? I can't wait to get home and see why this is worth over $100."
But it's not, right?
Well, yeah, it
Was
was.
it?
Yeah, it was
Really?
brilliant. It was such a beautiful blue, and I used it sparingly because it's such a beautiful blue. I put it like in a lower back or something, and it's the only time you see the blue.
What was
And
it? Do you remember?
I can't remember. It's over there in a big pile. I could
Yeah,
risk.
was it lapis something?
It was a cobalt variation,
Oh, okay.
but I can't remember what one it was. But I'm terrified to move.
Really?
If I take these headphones off and move, I could be frozen, and it could be all over.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll put it in my Instagram. There you go. There's a teaser for you. So if you follow me on Instagram, I will
Well,
post.
now
that.
everyone's gonna go spend $100 on blue.
No, well, that's
Thinking
their.
that's gonna make their paintings
Well,
better.
if they can't afford it, they don't have to. They could buy it between them. I always say that to my students: buy this between you, because really, I think cheap paints are a false economy. If you buy the student grade, you just open the tube and half of it spills out as oil. And certain pigments and I know Stan's moving his head there because there are some good ones as well. There are good ones, but I got one once before and I poured it out and tried to thin it down, and it just became bits of soot. It couldn't actually connect itself back together again. So that was the time when I realized that a student grade paint, marvelous as they are, to some extent, every once in a while you're going to get one that can't adhere itself back together when you thin it so much. So that, like that blue, for instance, the other day, I could thin that right down to practically just oil and just a dot, and it was all still on there. It's amazing. You can thin it right down, so it's worth $1,000. I'll never live long enough to use that paint up. I never will. So here's me drawing gold, by the way. It's not really gold, it's black and white. But it's often asked, how do you add gold and stuff like that? I never put it on the model. It always looks horrible. It hangs down and stuff. It doesn't fit right. So I just add it in. So you watch me just draw there. And it's basically taking the tones that are in the arm or leg or whatever it is and just over accentuating the tones on the gold. That's all. So if there's a dark tone at that point where the arm is, I darken it more on the gold. If there's a light tone on the arm, I'll lighten that more on the gold. And that's basically how to draw metal. And look how fast it goes in. So once again, I'm gonna shut this cake hole and take questions.
Yeah, another one. How many hours of drawing do you do a day?
Oh, I wish that wasn't asked. I wish that wasn't asked because, you know, I'm too honest a person to tell a lie. I'm hardly drawing anything. I, I'm painting at the minute, and I think if I've painted, I can go out and sit in the sun now because I've done my daily chores. And so I hardly draw at all. And so what I do though is at the very beginning of this, I'll do that. I'll move charcoal around. But when I'm drawing, like when I did the course that's on Proko, and by the way, Stan and Christian, that course that I've done, which is what you're seeing here, this is from Proko. This is how to draw the fantasy female figure. I put this exclusively on Proko. I haven't put this on my channel yet, on my own web store, for instance. I put this on, and when I was doing this, I did it during COVID. I was drawing 10, 12 hours a day, and I was really starting to get very, very fluid. Like here I'm drawing this Mermaid Dreams. This is from my web store, this one. Zuckerberg can't get me here, even though we all know that's a nipple. But because I've put a gold line around it, it's now gold. It's a gold breastplate.
What?
Right there. I'm drawing the breastplate. So when I'm drawing like this, when I'm drawing every day, I'm really very fluid. But if I haven't drawn for, like, let's say a couple of days, I'm getting rusty. If I haven't drawn for a month, you may as well send a 6-year-old in to teach the class because I can't draw anymore. But the mileage is still there for me to draw for an hour and then get it all back again. So for me, this was a time when I was really, can I say, I was on fire without seeming like my head's so big it can't get out the door. But
yeah,
you know when you're on fire, you know what it's like. You're in the zone and you feel you're on fire, and that comes from drawing every day. So I would say to a student, there's no excuse not to draw every day, unless you're a professional. Then you can take some time off. But when I'm drawing every day, I can't be better than that. And I think that's when comic book artists are why comic book artists are so great, because they're drawing every single day. Now, this particular drawing here, I want to just say something about drawing without copying, without tracing. You see me drawing this live. I had this at my booth at LuxCon. So I was selling original drawings. And this guy came back and he said, "You traced that, didn't you?" And I nearly said, in my younger days, I would have went crazy berserk. I would have went, whoa, trace, call me a tracer. I would have done all that. And then I just went, oh, he's just reflecting his own, himself. He's reflecting himself there, that he traces all the time, and it's a bit sad. And so I just let it go. But my younger self would have went, there's footage. You can go see that. So I think that tracing should only be done by professionals. I think professionals are the only ones that shouldn't draw every day, and professionals are the only ones that should trace, because they know, like Norman Rockwell traced for the rest of his life. He was the great tracer, and he would hide it. He would hide the tracing.
He would trace, but then he would also exaggerate parts.
Exactly.
He wouldn't just trace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He traced to get. Basically, he had a finite amount of time in his life and in his day. So that's what professionals do. They trace basically the quick elements, and then they draw. But I'm drawing. I have to draw now. Now I'm going to paint here for anyone that's asking questions. And in the background there, you can see little thumbnails. And a question that's often asked is, do I work digitally? I worked digitally for 10 years and then stopped and went back to traditional again. And so I was 10 years without painting. And when I'm actually talking in the background, that's why nothing's happening. And that's a muted thing. So I'll just talk it over. There's the palette. There's the ultramarine blue. There's the alizarin crimson. And there's the Indian yellow on my palette. What you're seeing on the left is digital roughs. I did this for Imagine FX magazine. And even though I'm called Patrick Jones Illustrator now, you're going to watch me mix. So for all questions about how do you mix, it's happening right now. I am called Patrick J. Jones Illustrator, and I can't change that moniker. It's my web store. It's everything. But I'm not an illustrator anymore. I don't take commissions anymore. But having said that, if I find something interesting, I do take it, with the caveat that there's no art direction, which would blow the head off most art directors. They go, like me at the booth, "What? I'm an art director. What do you mean no art direction?" And that's basically the deal. So imagine FX just give me full reign not to be art directed. And so I said, okay, I'll paint something, because they asked me would I paint something. And so I painted this, and that's what you're seeing here, sort of truncated footage for that 3-issue thing. I hadn't painted for a year because of COVID, because I didn't trust FedEx. So that a year without a painting, and they're asking me
what do you mean you didn't trust FedEx? Like to get supplies to you, or to
deliver the art?
Okay, but you didn't paint for yourself
an entire year, not a thing. And now I have to, with a camera over my shoulder, paint. And you get drawing rust. I had paint rust. I didn't think there was such a thing, because you've got so long to do it. And I'm never nervous, I never shake or anything, I got the, it's all going on, and I'm dead confident. But at this point, the old student me was coming back on. This is terrible. That voice in your head. You're not painting very well, Patrick. What's wrong? And it was that year. It was that year off. So here I'm drawing the Martian Queen. And going back to that question about emotion, that's what those little color roughs were for. I wanted to put in not just a Martian Queen. I wanted to think about what would it be like to be a Martian Queen. Let's say the story evolves and the Martian Queen is lost for love, because she can't just marry the servant. That wouldn't look good on her. She's got to marry a warrior. And so she's love lost, and she's hoping for a warrior, a warrior king to. And that was my initial idea for this painting. That's the emotional core of this painting. And so where do we set her? And I thought, I'll set her indoors. And here's a mental thing that went through my mind. The thought of putting a character indoors depressed me, because I was indoors through the COVID pandemic. And I thought, I don't want to do that. And I was looking out the window at lovely Australia, and I thought, no, she's got to be outdoors. And so that was the only reason I put her outdoors. So I put her on this plinth outdoors. Maybe she flies, and she's just lying there, and she's forlorn, and she's looking into the distance. And the emotional core is she's looking for, this warrior. Will he come? Simple as that. That's the emotional core of this story. And I'll stop now and take questions.
I have to step out, but Christian will ask the questions.
Okay,
it was
cool.
a pleasure to meet you.
And likewise, Stan, I'm heartbroken that you're leaving.
I have to leave. I have to finish a few things before I go home.
I know you do.
But
don't feel any guilt. Just feel the guilt for about 10 minutes. I'll let you.
I
have
will.
10
I'll
minutes.
feel guilt the whole time, and I won't get anything.
All right, no, just 10. I don't want you to have it all the time. 10 minutes, Stan, if you will.
I will. Okay.
All right.
Good luck, guys.
It was a pleasure. See you, Stan.
There's like 30 questions left.
Is there? Okay.
There's a lot.
All right.
We'll probably get through 2.
Yeah, we'll get through 2 of them.
Yeah.
All right, Christian. If you field them, I'll take them. Thanks, Stan. See ya.
We'll do. This one seems kind of relevant. Hi, Patrick. What most inspires you for your paintings? Like images you see, or from dreams, or from characters from stories? Thanks.
That's an interesting question, because I do get inspired by dreams. I'm a big dreamer, and it's when you get in other people's heads, it's quite a surprise sometimes. Because I met a person once and they said they never dream, and I'm astounded. I dream all the time. I dream every night. And if you can't dream, just eat some cheese before bed, and there's something in cheese that activates your brain cells at night. It's true. Whether a scientist said it or not, it's true. Try it. Eat some cheese. Have you tried that, Christian? Have you ever noticed you've eaten cheese before you go to bed and you dream?
I guess so. I can kind of, I can't think of a specific time I've done that, but I could totally see that being the case.
It's the case.
Yeah.
There you go. I've made it official. I am now the scientist, Patrick Jones, the cheese scientist. If you eat cheese before bed, you'll have dreams. And if you don't, then you're just not a dreamer. But I do that. I always have a little bit of cheese before bed, because I don't want to waste those 8 hours not dreaming. And so there's a tip for you. You want to spend your time in imagination while you're asleep, have a piece of cheese before bed. It's good for your teeth as well.
Yeah.
So I do that. And yes, I do dream a lot. And those dreams do inspire me. And sometimes they're super wild. And you can't, it's usually me flying around. I know that's something about superiority. I'm a superior person or something. I'm flying around in my dreams all the time. And usually I run really fast. And when I have dreams where my teeth are falling out, I know there's a problem. Something's not going right in my life. But what inspires me, basically, if I'm not inspired, is I just get an art book and tumble through it. I just do that. I just got an art book the other day. These are coming out now.
Which ones?
These big books.
Oh yeah, the artist editions. Yeah, those are.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
I own the
And
Bernie Wrightson one, I think.
which one is that, Christian?
The Bernie Wrightson.
Is it out? I've been waiting for the Frankenstein one.
Well, he has his other stuff from the not Frankenstein one.
Oh, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Frankenstein one.
Yeah.
And you might go, oh, Pedrick, it must be great to buy those great art books and everything. And it is. It's wonderful to finally have my art pay for things that I love, and it's always going back into the art again. But even when I was a kid, when I was a student, I remember, am I going to eat this week, or am I going to buy The Illusion of Life, the Walt Disney masterpiece book?
Yeah.
And I bought The Illusion of Life and starved for a week. Now, you might go, The Illusion of Life, it's only $30, $40 on Amazon. Not the first edition. And I don't mean like in a collector's edition. I mean when it first came out back in, decades ago. When it first came out, the edition you bought then was just a different thing. It was so beautifully made. The paper was thicker. The book was heavier. It was a real heavy thing to carry around. So it's a different book now. You can buy it really cheap. I chose not to eat for a week to buy that book. Yeah. So for me, that's how important art is to me. So I tumble through an art book. And I'll take other questions now.
Hi, Patrick. Do you incorporate, or do you have in the past, feedback into your art process? Do you have any advice on receiving/seeking feedback for someone learning art outside of a structured environment? Asking as someone starting their art journey after university. The Proko site and posting pieces seems like a good place to start. Soliciting feedback. Was wondering if you had any thoughts. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I was very slow off the mark in getting an Instagram account. I just couldn't be bothered, And students would always come up to me and say, "Have you got an Instagram account?" And the first time they asked, I went, "I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand that language." And eventually they asked enough, and one of them just made one for me. Just said, "Look, you've got one now." And she says, "What do you want to call yourself?" And I said, "Patrick J. Jones Illustrator." Yeah. And she made it for me, a student. And I says, oh, thanks. Okay. And I didn't look at it for ages. And then another student said to me a year later, "Have you got an Instagram account?" And I went, yeah, I have. I hadn't posted a single thing. Yeah. And she said, "There's nothing on there." I says, "Oh yeah, sorry." The student made it for me. She says, "You've got 1,000 followers." And I hadn't posted anything. And I says, that sounds like a lot of people. She says, "That's an awful lot of people. You should really, take care of those people, Yeah. And I felt really guilty. I've got to take care of them now. Is it like a little game where I have to look after people now? And so I started posting on it. I think it's a great platform now. I really do. And if I'd have had that when I was growing up, I would have been felt so much better in life, because it was just an empty room for me and no feedback. So yeah, I say go ahead and don't wait till you're the greatest artist in the world. Post everything you do. Just stick it straight up there and get feedback. Feedback's a marvelous thing. And if anyone's cruel, just on the flip side of it, because there's so many cruel people out there, the minute you try and do something nice, someone says something horrible. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know how they look in the mirror, but those people are there. And I think it was Marshall that said it, Marshall Vandruff. And is that how you pronounce Marshall's surname, Christian?
Oh, yeah, Vandruff.
Yeah. He said something fabulous. He said, if someone's mean to you, it's a badge of honor, because they're only reflecting themselves. I don't know if he said that, but that's what I took from it. They're only reflecting themselves. You've done something that they're jealous of. And so really, if you get a mean comment, treat that as the gold. Say, oh, right, I'm doing something so great that someone is angry enough to go, rah, 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 rah. Yeah. And it's not you. I had my hero, Boris Vallejo. He wrote the foreword to my first ever book. It was the greatest moment before Steve took over the reins there and made that the second greatest moment. And so he said to me, when there was no internet, that people would send him hate mail. Imagine the mind that did that. They went, "I am so angry that you're so much better than me. I'm going to write it in a letter." And then they were still kept the anger to open their front door, get in their car, go down to the post office, get a stamp, lick it, put it in the post box.
And pay money for it, right?
Yes, pay money for it. What kind of person is that? Imagine that for a badge of honor. So he used to get hate mail in the mail. So it's not a new thing. So ignore that. I'm very big on block and delete. If anyone says anything mean, I just go block and delete, and they're gone forever. I don't even reply. I replied once, and to my detriment, never replied again. Sorry, Christian, I'm the terrible talker. Go ahead.
No. You have a lot of wisdom, and a lot of people are commenting on how much they are enjoying your talk.
Oh, great. I'm glad people hung around after that disastrous start.
Oh, no.
But I'm not alone. Didn't I see Stan talking to Natalia the other day in a silent movie?
Yeah. Well, again, I think it's like as long as you're sharing good ideas and all that kind of stuff, people do watch these later. So
yeah, it's not a reflection on us. It's technology. You know, the gremlins are in there trying to crush everything. Okay, that's my excuse.
Well, I think it's a miracle that we're even able to talk at all. You know,
it is a miracle.
50 years ago, like that little hiccup would still be, just a monumental human achievement. You know?
Imagine Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. Would they call that a hiccup? They would be running around doing laps going, can you believe this?
Yeah. You're on the other side of the planet, right? And we're talking like you're in the same room as me.
And maybe part of that is that. And you get too precious. Like I'm tilted. Do you see how I'm tilted here? Like I'm driving that spaceship. It's just a tilted camera because I had to bring it forward because we're in HD. And if we weren't in HD, I didn't have enough green screen. So even that alone was getting my heart going and going, oh, I've got to fix that. And then that's what crashed the original start. But yeah, it's marvelous. I'll take more questions. And before we do, Christian, could you just let me know how much longer we've got?
Yeah, so we're gonna end around 5:45 for us to give us time for the next stream.
Yeah,
but we have about maybe 30 minutes or so.
Oh, that's plenty. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
Okay, I can relax.
That's good. Yeah. Patrick, who is someone you think is as influential as Frank Rosetta, but not as nearly well known? Multiple artists recommended and are welcome. Thanks.
Oh, that's a brilliant question. And I don't want to play favorites. I would have to just take anything that comes off the top of my head. Now, I think I may have a student in here called Kirby, and she is a great fan of Jeff Jones's. And I absolutely love Jeff Jones. And it's a surprise to me that Jeff Jones isn't known because I know him so well. Like I would feel it to you, Christian. Do you know Jeff Jones? The artist?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Christian knows Jeff Jones. But I'm of a time now where, a generation isn't a long time. And then, now we're starting to forget another generation. And for me, Jeff Jones, growing up, I just couldn't get enough of him. Have I got it? There we go.
Yeah.
Jeff Jones.
Yeah.
I think he was, I wouldn't say that if Frank was still with us, I think he's a better painter than Frank. I really do. And Frank said that as well. And like I was saying to Kirby, it might have been false modesty because he was, he's very bombastic, Frank. Or it might have been a moment of candidness where he actually just confessed it. But it doesn't take away from Frank because Frank was brilliant at something else. He was brilliant at invention. He was brilliant at his imagination was just fabulous. And so is Jeff Jones's. But Jeff Jones was so prolific. The stuff, he was just banging paint inside while he was under the influence of alcohol. He was an alcoholic. And so imagine what he could have done without that, what a workhorse he was. Yeah. So Jeff Jones, I think Jeff Jones was fabulous and not as well known as, I've got a bunch of books here. John Buscema, but you might know him already. Yeah. Gustav Klimt, you all know the classics, but who are the, relatively recent that I could say? I'm looking up there. Mike Kalula's up there. John Singer Sargent, we all know. Norman Rockwell, we know all those. So I've got all of those things. But as far as, new artists. Yeah, Ashley Wood. He's an Australian artist. I was surprised to find that. I went to, Ashley Wood?
Yeah, well, so my dad and him know each other, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Because you're very well traveled, aren't you, Christian? I assume you've met a lot of artists as you go.
Yeah.
And I've been watching your sketchy van, by the way. I think it's marvelous.
Oh, thank you so much. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, I would recommend the sketchy van if you want to get deeper into the philosophy of life.
No podcast. Well, I'd love to have you on at some point.
I'm anytime. just give me a buzz and I'll do it.
No,
But I
that'd
can't
be-
get in your van. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Not yet. Anyway.
Oh yeah, no problem. Well,
Would it?
figure something out.
Have you thought of doing sketchy van outside the van?
I guess part I'm very stubborn about it.
I know.
Yes,
It has to be in the van.
Yeah, it has 100% of it has to be in the van. But
What if you sent me what if you sent me a high res the inside of your van?
Yeah.
And I use it in the green screen here.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
What about that?
Well,
and I could even set up a little candle to light. We could do that. Something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. I might be down for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to do that, then I'm happy to come
Absolutely.
along.
Yeah.
All right. So at the moment here, I'm just extrapolating on ideas for fabric. I'm not actually copying any fabric at all. But go ahead, Christian, with any other questions.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, cheese contains amino acid, tryptophan, and vitamin B6, which leads to vivid dreams. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Was that a scientist?
I don't know.
I guess you don't have to be now because we've got the internet.
Yeah.
We can all just find that knowledge, can't we? But
Yeah.
it could be a scientist. It could be someone.
Yeah.
I get a lot of doctors come to my life draw classes.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, because they're interested in the human body.
Yeah.
And so they end up retiring and they draw figures. Okay.
Joy Zone YouTube says, I'm going to ask it here since I think of it. I've been overwhelmed with the amount of books, methods, etc. What path do you advise a newbie to go through? I know perspective is a must. Any tips?
Yeah. Would the question be beyond books? Is that the idea that like she's got so many books that she wants to go beyond books or more books? What was the? Could I have it again?
Oh
Christian,
yeah.
I'm trying to
Sure.
get my head around it.
Let me find the question again. I think. Here we go.
Yeah.
I've been overwhelmed with the amount of books, methods, etc. What path would you advise a newbie to go through? I know perspective is a must. Any other tips?
I think drawing for animation, which I teach, is a really great primer for people that want to draw, even if it's figure drawing, because you're concentrating on the gesture and the holistic nature of things. I would say to go forward, draw less rendered drawings, draw lots of shorter drawings. And once again, I'll go back to Steve, the mentorship I'm in with Steve, and we're discussing, it's his idea, little wins, where you win a little every day by doing a little, and that's not overwhelming for anyone. And so you just say, I'm going to draw 5 minutes a day. Anyone can commit to that. And you don't even have to draw a figure, because that's what I do. I just make marks if I don't feel like drawing. And just do that. Have a little win. And if you're not inspired to draw a whole day, draw for 5 minutes. And don't trick yourself. Don't go, oh, this is just a trick to make me draw all day. Say, all I'm going to do is draw 5 minutes. And if that's all you do, you've won. You've got a little win. And if you continue on there, then you're drawing. And that's, it's a big, making a start, I reckon, is halfway to the finish. I really believe that holistically. And I only paint about 3 hours a day, but I've got the benefit of mileage behind me, where that used to be 10 hours to get the same result, or even 16 hours. I used to paint 16 hours a day. Can you believe that? When I was young, I'd just go and paint until I was hungry. That's how I knew when it was time to eat. I'd just be starving. When your stomach's actually squeezing itself together, that's how I knew it was lunchtime or dinner time.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you're very young, you just paint like crazy and you burn yourself out as well. So I'd say little wins are good for everyone. And if you draw too much, for instance, you can burn out. You can actually start making mistakes. So I would say, be very conscious of that too. But remember, just take your time. This is a long game. It's not a short game. This is a long game. An athlete, they've only got a short time. People in middle management are starting to look at the end of their career. But for an artist, artists have long lives generally, if you're lucky. Like Michelangelo was in his 80s or something. That was unheard of back then. You were lucky to get to 40. So artists have a long life, hopefully. Everything else taken out of the equation. And I think some of that is because it's not a stressful thing. if you let it not be. I think it's a meditative thing, and you're meditating without meditating. Like I'm meditating here, drawing this gold on this figure, for instance. So I hope that helps. I know it's a long-winded answer, but I hope it helps.
I think it's a good answer.
Thank you.
I believe we've covered this a bit already, but my only question for Patrick is this: any tips on using color? I've been a bit bored using black and white lately.
Yeah, I think using black and white is a great way to start. And I think anyone runs in with a full color spectrum, they're going, the wrong way. It's a madness. You can see here I'm working with just a couple of colors to get this gold. And just go back again to the before there, ultramarine, alizarin crimson, Indian yellow, and white. And just play with those, and you'll be absolutely astounded. And I pinched that off, well, most of it off Steve Houston as well, who pinched his. Each person adds a little to it. He adds Indian, or he calls it fire engine red, and I've never heard of fire engine red. I think it might be an American tube color, or maybe he's just saying fire engine red, and you go and look for one that's that color. I don't know. Christian, is there a fire engine red tube?
I'm sure
In
there
America?
is. I don't know off the top of my head though.
Yeah, he was saying it like it existed. So yeah, and then just add, more vibrant colors. Like I usually go for a blue or a purple. And with those three colors, honestly, it stops you thinking about anything else. And also what it does is it makes the painting analogous. Everything in the painting is similar in tone, and you don't have to worry about the sudden blast of blue out of nowhere and how to tame that thing because it's taken over the painting, because all of the colors are now just three colors mixed together. And actually, Jeff Jones used that same palette too. I think it's a derivation from a Zorn palette. And then you just add whatever colors beyond those three colors. And they're very expensive, but they're worth you buying 20 tubes of paint.
Yeah.
So, and they're very, I'll give you one thing, one caveat, they're slow drying colors. So get yourself a little bit of, is it Galgit? I think it's Galgit Light. Get yourself a little bit of Galgit light and dip it in there for that. Otherwise, those colors take forever to dry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. The Stylish Fox 5 asks, hi, I've been an artist for years, but I still feel like I can't draw anything actually good. What advice do you have for artists that aren't totally beginners but want to learn the fundamentals?
Life Draw. Simple as that. Just go to Life Draw. And what you'll find in Life Draw is other artists, and they're all in different stages of development. And there'll always be one sage artist in there that you can befriend. And artists are a great community. They want to help. And just ask that artist. I don't want to spruik my stuff, but I teach, I do a mentorship on my online store where people come in, and I'm sure there are some in here today, and I draw over their drawings every week. So if you can find a mentor as well, someone that can look at your work and not be too gruff, I'm often known as the kind teacher. I used to think I was a rock star tough guy. I came from a rough, tough upbringing. But I have seen the detriment of being gruff with a student and how it just shuts maybe a student down, maybe forever. And so I think it's not a good idea. So find yourself a nice person and field your drawings to them and say, what do you think? And, just feel it out. But yeah, if you can get a mentor, that's the way to go. And you'll learn tons. If I could go back to my 20-year-old self with all of the movies that I've produced for other students and just handed them to me, I would have skyrocketed ahead, because all of that stuff is from the tumbles and falls that I've had over my life, and all the wins that I have had now are starting to accumulate in my internal art engine. So I've got this art engine now that's really well fueled, and that's why I can, paint something in 3 hours that would have taken 10, or draw. So you saw me draw at the start there in a few minutes. They would have taken me an hour, because I'm trying to work everything out. And so that's it. You really need a good teacher. You need a good teacher and a good mentor. If you can't afford a teacher, then find a mentor. That's the way to do it. But also just be in a group of artists. I watch my students leave university, and they all just do that. All go off. You're never going to, it might seem while you're in university that this bunch there's lots of artists out there. There's not. Once they do that, they're alone again. So Instagram's great for not letting that happen. But if you're in school, if you're in art school and you're shy, just show your work to someone. You don't even have to speak, and become a little group. And once you've got a group going, then you're all learning like a beehive, new things every minute. And that is a brilliant thing. If you're learning alone, you're moving slow. If you're learning with a lot of people, you're moving fast. There's my advice to you.
Yeah, I think Patrick is a brilliant artist and mentor, and I think if you have the opportunity to study with him, you totally should.
Oh, thanks, Christian.
Of course.
I go all dumb when that happens, when someone's nice to me. I can't speak now, for it's you're gonna have to take over the show.
Yeah, ruin the whole thing.
Thanks, Christian. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And like what Christian just did there, affirmations. If someone shows you a drawing and it's the worst drawing you've ever seen, find what's good in it. Because what I'm often I'm inspired by students, and what inspires me sometimes is because they don't know much, in the scale of things, they're more daring. And so they'll make a stroke that I wouldn't make because I know it's the detrimental stroke that later on, but it could be the most daring and beautiful thing in the whole picture. And I learn from students like that, because as you get better, sometimes you become more cautious as well, because you want everything to look great because you're the maestro sort of thing. People are looking for you not to make mistakes when there are no mistakes. I think that every time you make a bold choice, even if you fall over, you've been a success. I think there are no mistakes in art. So put it out there and be bold. And that's what I have to tell myself every day. Every time I feel cautious, I say, be bold.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I guess this question is slightly related, but Carlos Cosea asks, I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Do you think it is possible to reach a good level using photos as reference, since it is not always possible to work with a live model?
Yeah, I feel the pain there, because, I grew up in a Roman Catholic area when basically, nudity was seen as something horrific, instead of, the idea that nudity is obscene is bizarre when we're people, we're figures that are nude. We've seen ourselves nude. How can we be obscene? And yet the doctrine when I was growing up was it was obscene. And so if I had to, if my mum knew I'd hired a nude model to come around and pose, it just isn't going to happen, Whereas I have nude models come in all the time and pose, and they're the most wonderful people, and they're artists themselves and poets, and it's bohemian, and it's beautiful, and I wish I had it all my life. It's so liberating and just brilliant, and I love it. But I couldn't do that when I was younger. So working from photographs, yes, there's a problem, a huge amount of problems with photographs. They're flat, they're distorted. That's why I've written that last book. And I can once again promote the Ukraine benefit here. The latest book I've written is called Drawing from Photos. And it's on the package there. If you buy it, you help the, because all the profits are going to go to Ukraine. So that's on the website. And that's all about that. And I could talk for hours about it. That book will tell you everything that I have in my mind about that. But the main thing is that all photos are distorted, every single one. Like Christian right now and me right now, our heads are a little longer because we're working with lenses that are wide angle. And so we are, in the middle of that view, and the outsides are getting bigger. So every photograph everyone has got distortion in it. And when I go around an art show and I see drawings and paintings, I know which ones have been taken directly from photographs, unless a real pro has done it because they changed the photo distortion. And so I can see it. I can see the camera lens. I can see the angles. I can see everything that's wrong. And also tangents, like this drawing in the background here. I'm the tangent killer. Most of what I'm drawing is killing tangents. And a tangent is basically when a story tells a different story. Like if I do that, it's a 2D image. And so let's say I took my arm out and there was someone with their hand there like that. An amateur would draw the hand in there, and the person watched, it'd be ridiculous, but I've seen it. I saw a guy that drew his dad at Miami Beach or something, and there was a palm tree just behind him. And he says, "What do you think?" This was when I wasn't such a nice teacher. And I said, I wasn't a teacher then. I was just in a studio. And he says, "What do you think?" I says, "Well, you could take that palm tree off your dad's head for a start." And he says, "There's no palm tree on his head. It's in the background." I says, "No, it's on his head." And he said, It's in the background. Are you stupid? He wasn't getting the idea I was being ironic. I says, no, if your dad walks to the left here, the palm tree will still be on his head because it's a 2D image. And so with photographs, you've got to, and it's the old saying, you can't be a slave to the photo. So when you're working from photos, you've got to stop and ask yourself right away, what is wrong with this photo? You've got to say that every single time. Look for the tangents, look for those palm trees coming out of heads, look at the depth of field, look for the distortion in the lens. If something looks wrong, it's wrong. And if you copy it, then your drawing's wrong. And I've often said that if it looks wrong, it's wrong, even if it's right. And so if it's in your drawing and the photo's gone and no one sees the photo anymore, your drawing now stands alone and people are going to see it right away. They forgive a photo because they just go, well, that's what real things are. We're so used to seeing distortion, we don't even notice it anymore. But you see it in a drawing. And so when your drawing's presented, people go, what's wrong with that ear? Or like I said, why is your dad got a palm tree growing out of his head? So approach with care. What's wrong with this photo every single time? Or donate to Ukraine if you can. I know that we're all artists, and that means usually we don't have much money. But if you can, that book is there. And if you can, go ahead, Christian.
Well, if you don't have to contribute by donating necessarily. Just sharing it around with your friends, telling people.
Yeah, we don't want to do that, because I remember wiping down newsprint with the chamois leather.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford any more newsprint.
Yes.
Newsprint, you can't even put a dollar amount on it because it's so cheap. You buy it in 100 ream. You couldn't even say it's less than a cent. But for me, I had to rub it down because I had no more money. So I know what it is like to be strapped for cash. So I'm very, very aware of that when I talk to students. And that's why I think that newsprint and charcoal are the first go-to tools for anyone, because they're usually affordable by almost everyone on the planet if you've got any cash in your pocket at all. So a piece of charcoal, a piece of newsprint in your drawing. And I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. We're at almost $38,000, by the way, raised for the.
Wow, look at that. That's brilliant. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of naysayers. There's the whatabouters, I don't know who they are. It's probably bots, but the whatabouters deflect. They go, oh, but what about something else? Yeah. And what about something else? Of course, let's go do that too. It's not like we can only do one thing. So what we're doing here is we're helping. If you've seen the images, I mean, how can you hold the tears in? We're looking at a humanitarian disaster here with women and children. I don't even want to say it. It's just too sad and upsetting. But we've all seen the footage, and that's where this money's going to. It's more blankets and food. It's not buying missiles or guns, okay? I'm totally anti-war. I think war is a failure of government, and I'm disgusted by every war that happens. This isn't for war. This is for people. This is for people affected. I grew up in Northern Ireland when I was a kid, and I can see the Ukraine. It wasn't as terrible as Ukraine, but it was for those that didn't make it. We lost 4,000 lives in my time as a kid. And so it was everywhere in my purview. It was everywhere. So I see Ukraine from that position from a long time ago. And it was horrific. And the people on the ground were wonderful, beautiful people. And they were just I can see the Ukrainians. They're so funny. They remind me of those people from back. Even during a war, they were funny, And the Ukrainians make me laugh, and that makes it even sadder to me that I'm identifying so strongly. So it's for blankets and food. Am I right, Christian?
Yeah, 100% of the funds are going to be going to humanitarian efforts, hospitals, feeding children, helping refugees, that sort of thing.
So anybody that says, what about, shame on you, okay? And go and do something about the what about, okay? Yeah. So we all do what we can. We're all, even being here, all of us together are doing something. So let's just do something. Let's be good people.
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox now.
So that's all right.
Step back down.
Yeah. Well, Julia Zalesko, she says, "Hi, Patrick. I was your student a couple years ago at CGMA. Lovely hearing your teaching again. Always so excited."
Great. And who was it?
I think it's Julia Zalesko.
All right. Hey, Julie, how are you doing?
I'm sorry. It's pronounced Giulia.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Great to see you again. Almost. What was the question?
Yeah. Another person, their name is Heck, so I don't know what their real name is, but was your former student. Also, great seeing your art again. PJ, great and hilarious teacher.
Thanks, Hex. And where was Hex? Did he say?
Uh,
Where was he?
no, he didn't.
Didn't
he's,
say?
No.
Yeah, because I have I teach on a lot of platforms, so I have to go CGMA and I have to lock that into my head, and JMC, and you can hear all the acronyms, JMC, and it goes on and on and on. You know, QT, all those places. So I've got to just lock it in TAFE.
Yeah.
Teaching a long time. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
What was the question?
Oh, there was no question. They were just you know.
Oh, great. Oh,
praising
nice
the
to see you.
students.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll go back in time for that question. And if this is kind of related, but if somebody wants to find your mentorships, they're just on your website, right?
They're on the web store, yeah. pjartworks.com.
Yeah.
There's a class in session at the moment, but you can put your name down for, you know, in the contact form. Say I'm interested in the next one. I think it's September. I don't do them that often, but I think September. I think September is the next one. So plenty of time.
Yeah. What brushes do you use to blend charcoal?
I don't use them. I don't use brushes for charcoal. I only use a brush to wipe away little bits of debris and stuff. I don't actually. I've seen them used and they're lovely, but I don't use them. I think they're too soft, so I don't want to get into blending. I use my digits. There's a big one, thumb, finger down to the little finger. I use a chamois leather, washed and dried. I learned that from Glenn Vilpo. And I use a tissue. And tissue takes away less, and the chamois leather takes away more. So for the chamois leather, you know, that drawing, for instance, there in the background, this is from the mentorship program. I want to say it's a mentorship. It's basically, it's a format where I teach and you watch pre-recorded material, and then I draw over your work and talk to you about art for hours on end every week. It's a long Q&A is what it is each week. That's what that kind of mentorship is. It's happening at the moment. So this is from that, actually. We do a master drawing, and this is the master drawing. But you can choose any master drawing. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of render in that class. So for the background there, I've used a big chamois to pull back all the dirty charcoal that's in there. And you have to wash and dry that. And it has to be a leather chamois. And I've already said lots of times for anybody that's vegetarian or vegan or anything, that it can only be leather. And I said to my vegan friend, how can I work with that? And he said, well, the animal hasn't died in vain. But it has to be leather. It has to be a leather chamois, but they last the rest of your life. They never stop working. I've had them forever. Yeah. There we go. It's for washing your car with.
Yeah. Well, so we have about 5 minutes left. I can ask you one more question and then we can wrap up.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Could you ask Patrick real quick if he draws while standing or at a desk? I've been wondering about that for a while.
Well, I'm forced to sit because I have a camera when I'm recording stuff. And I mean, I remember drawing, we went over to the Natural History Museum at JMC Academy. So I take the students across the road to the History Museum. And I remember drawing a dinosaur, and I had, because there was nowhere to sit, I had the thing like that, and I was drawing the dinosaur. And one of the students came up to me and said, Patrick, you look so heroic there. Yeah. And it made me feel like I should draw standing up all the time, you know, because it looks so terrific. I paint standing up, and I draw mostly standing down. But if I'm in a life drawing class, I stand up all the time, unless I'm teaching. So it's basically I'm sitting when I have to teach, and I'm standing when I don't. That's the answer. So stand as much as you can.
Well, thank you again so much, Patrick.
Oh, thanks, Christian.
You know, it's very kind of you to do this. It was really a pleasure listening to you talk and watching you draw.
Oh, thanks, Christian. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone that's interested, again, in the Proko Ukraine fundraiser, you know, go to proko.com/Ukraine to donate money to the, you know, help refugees and feed kids and stuff. And then do you want to tell people where to follow you and where to find your stuff one more time?
Yeah, if you could follow me, if you pick up my measly following and join me at PJ Artworks. No, sorry, Patrick J. Jones Illustrator. I know it's a big, long, verbal one. Patrick J. Jones Illustrator on Instagram, and PJ Artworks on on my web store. That's my web store. On my web store, you can go anywhere. You know, it's basically got Facebook in there. I don't know what I'm called on Facebook. I can't remember those big long names, but I'm on Facebook too. Oh yeah, I've got a YouTube channel that I've just started.
Nice.
I think it's called PJ Artworks, I think anyway. There's two of them. One's practically dead and the other one's still working. So the one that has the warrior, has got a bronze chest. That's the one that you should follow. I'm actually putting up free movies there right now. If you go to Proko, find me through Proko and you can see me in there because we're promoting my fantasy female figures on there. If you go there, I've actually answered questions in there. And if you click on my profile, that's the YouTube channel. And follow me there. I'm putting up free movies.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks for that, Christian.
Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it.
I'll see you in Sketchy Van.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll hit you up.
All right.